Darcy,
Jay's here.
Thank you, Darcy.
Yeah, there we
me.
go.
Anyway, we'll keep going. So today we've got 6 exercises that are for runners. So if you're struggling with any imbalances or you're getting pain around your hips and pelvis, these are 6 unilateral exercises. So we're going to work single leg stance sort of stuff. So really good for balancing you out around your hips. But if you can't come in and see us in person, we do have our Fundamentals of Fitness course or our advanced training program. So they're both 8-week courses that you can work yourself through and build up to becoming a super fit person and really fully functioning through your body. So let's get into the exercise. We've got a single leg pelvic thrust to start with. So Darcy and I will both go through it. We'll just lie down on the floor here. So we want to have one leg in the air, one knee bent, and then we're just going to slowly thrust up and then slowly lowering our hips to the floor. So the important thing here is to make sure that you're keeping your pelvis nice and neutral on the way down, so we're not rotating and twisting our body, and we're not really bringing this leg up super high, so it's all pushing through this glute. So we're keeping our pelvis tucked under, so posterior tilt in the pelvis, and pushing through the foot there. All right, so we'll just have a look at Darcy's technique here. So come around the side, Leo. So as he's at the bottom, he's tucked under there, so his glutes engaged, and then pushing up and strong and stable at the top. And he's lowering down nice and slow, so he's not just dropping to the floor. So just show us one rep where you might go down really quick and just drop down. Yeah, so he's not doing that. He's controlling the whole way down. So he's keeping that glute and hamstring engaged on the way down, and he's exploding back up. So you can be a bit quicker when you're pushing up, and then you're slowly coming back down. If you're not sure if you're activating your glute, put one hand on your glute. Actually grab your bum and feel that that muscle is clenching. You should feel it get tighter under your hand. If you're not feeling that, if it's staying soft and you can poke it and it's still flabby, then it's not activating. So you might need to just actually have a hand there to really engage and actually feel that it's activating and working, all right? So single leg thrust, you can do a couple of sets of 10 on each side, or if 10's too much, start off with 5 and build it up from there. But the idea is that you're working on, getting that glute and that hamstring working. If you're getting a bit of a hamstring cramp, a way that you can help that is just take this foot away a bit further. So keep it flat, but it just takes a little bit less pressure off that hamstring and you'll be able to use more of your glute. All right, the next exercise is onto a wall stride. Stride, let's get Gas on his back, foot on the box here, and you want your hip at about a 45-degree angle here. So you're not too high. From here, we're sort of replicating that same single leg thrust, so stay down on the ground. So tuck your pelvis under, so posterior tilt, and then with your foot, you just want to sort of pull down against the wall or ply box. So you're just having your hips a sort of inch or two off the floor, so you don't have to lift up, so you're just staying quite low, Darcy, so just holding there. So you should feel your glute and hamstring, and then from here, keep your hips at the same height, and he's going to go through a calf raise. So come in here, Leo, so he lifts his heel off and just hold. Keep your hips down quite low, so stay down, 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 down. That's it, so you just hold there. So he should feel, here we're replicating that sort of mid-foot strike when he's running. So if we come from the side, it should almost look like when he's landing in a running pattern, that's where he wants. So he's going to get his glute, his hamstring, and his calf all working. So we're building up to improving the mechanics of that throughout the hip and that's it. So he's just dropping back down, good there. So you can do it as an isometric where you're just holding that position, or you can start to, so stay low, stay low, stay low, that's it. Or you can do some slow reps of actually dropping the foot back down and bringing back up. So he's just doing little calf pumps there. So he's working his whole posterior chain here. So he's getting calf, hamstring, glute. And that's really a step up from just doing the pelvic thrust. You're starting to replicate a bit more of that running and walking pattern. All right, so get the wall strides in, add them in. Let's go on to functional glutes. So his cable is in the right hand. His right leg's going to start backwards. So he's working his left glute. So most of the weight is on his front leg. And then what he's going to do is he start to row that cable in, stand up onto one leg, squeeze this glute at the top, wait till you're balanced. And then once you balance, you slowly start to transition back through. So this hip shifts backwards, upper body really dives forward. Keep most of the weight on this front leg and then squeeze back up. If you're a little bit wobbly here, don't try and rush it. Just wait until you're balanced or as balanced as you can be and then slowly start to push through. So the weight stays on this leg, little tap of the back foot, but keep that weight on this front leg and then squeeze up really strong at the top there, really strong and stable through here. So you want to feel this whole glute. This whole glute should be working mainly glute max, but if you're getting a little bit glute med, that's all right. That's stabilizing through the hip. All right, we shouldn't feel too much in the foot and the calf. If you are feeling that, it could be that you've got a bit of an imbalance up in the hip and you're really trying to over grip the ground with your foot. So just try and Try and keep this quite calm down here and focus on, really being strong and stable through that glute. So when you're coming up, you should really be striving through the foot, pushing up like we're gonna do when we walk and run. So it's really loading into this glute and then really push through the floor, squeezing this glute the whole way up. That's it. And as we can see, his hip is coming through into extension, not his knee like snapping back like that. So you wanna make sure that the hip is coming through to meet the knee, not the knee coming back like that, all right? So when you're pushing the knee back like this, you're gonna get more of your quad, and then it's a bit of a dysfunctional pattern. So you don't want the knee coming back, because that's potentially how you are running, is you're snapping the knee back, and you're probably overworking here, and potentially the back of the knee if you're getting some issues around there. So really strong through this glute, drive through, the knee stays bent until we're right at the top, and we're getting hip extension before knee extension. Whoa. So to show you on Darcy here, one more rep, Darcy, come around here, Leo, I think it'll probably be best. So he drives back here, and then he's focusing on the hip coming through to extension before his knee. That's it, so his hip's in extension, and then his knee starts to extend after. Better one. All right, so the hips through to extension, glutes on, and then the knee starts to straighten up. He doesn't snap the knee back before the hip comes through. All right, let's move on to step-ups. It's good. Step-ups, you can grab a set of dumbbells, or you can just do this body weight to start off with. So you've got a bench or a plyo box, you're gonna start 1 foot there. The first progression, push up, tap this leg. So most of the weight stays on the one leg, and then control back down. So push through the foot, and then really diving over. So it's a bit like that functional glute. We really wanna push through the forefoot and really use our glute and drive up. All right, you will get a bit of your quad, but really focusing on it, extending through this hip when you're pushing up. All right, again, don't let the knee just snap backwards, and controlling on the way down. So we're pushing our butt back as we're coming down, keeping the shin quite vertical. It's not really driving forward like that. So the shin angle stays quite vertical on the way down, and we're really controlling. If you're quite good at that, I'll swap legs so I don't cook myself. If you're good at that and you've got good balance, you can push up and bring the hip up into that flexion position, all right?
Yeah.
It's a bit more challenging.
You go, Jace, you go.
Step up, strong at the top. Oh, you can see I'm a bit wobbly on this side. Yeah. So yeah, these exercises are really good at showing where you might have a little bit of an imbalance in your body. So if you're a little bit wobbly on one side compared to the other, it might show that you've just got a bit of a weakness in one side. So really try and work out that imbalance. Yeah. So that patterning doesn't become ingrained if you're doing lots of Ks and running a lot of distance. So after that, we're moving on to a rear foot lunge or a Bulgarian split squat. In split squat, so grab a bench, put your rear foot on, and then you want to lunge out just a nice comfortable distance. And then from here, we're going to drop our back knee. As you're dropping back, dive your upper body forwards and push your butt backwards. So you're really loading into your glutes. So you're not sort of dropping straight down. If you're dropping straight down, you're going to get a lot more of your quad. But if we push our bum back, we get into more glute and quad territory, which is really good. You want to drive out that bottom position and come up really strong. All right, so notice the hips are hinging backwards a little bit and driving through. So coming back to the side, Leo, just so you can show the difference. So this one, I'm keeping my upper body quite straight and dropping straight down. This is going to get a bit more of my quad. Or if I lean forward and push my butt back, I'm going to get a lot more of my glute, all right? So there's a slight variation there that you can do that'll mix up which muscle groups you're hitting. Swap sides, again, checking that you're balanced. So push back, dive over, and drive out. Again, making sure you're pushing that hip through into extension, not just snapping the knee back. So that's a really important cue for all these exercises. So from here, my butt is coming through to meet my knee, not my knee coming back like that. All right, so that's a really big cue with all these exercises, all right? Super important, yeah, getting the hip into extension, strong in the glutes, not overloading our knee joint. That's why we might be getting some ITB issues, some patella tracking, or sort of jumper's knee type exercises pain. So,
yeah. How many reps, Jace? How many reps?
I like to do sort of 8 to 10.
Yeah.
But yes, and do sort of 2 to 3 sets. But if you're new to this, just do 1 set and just do it really well and gradually build up. So that way you're going to start to bulletproof your legs, get really strong both sides. Now the last exercise, we'll go straight into it. We've got speed skater. So so this is a great exercise for building stability through our hips when moving laterally. So starting in like a position where you're going to take off to run, you jump to the side and absorb. So we push off and absorb through our glute and hip and absorb through our knees as well. All right, so to start off with, you can just do it quite slow and you're just working at being really stable here, keeping your hips quite wide. So don't let your hip come through like this. So you push and land, push and land. So we're starting to train a bit of a different plane of motion here, but it's really good at making sure that you're strong through your glute med as well as your glute max and all those stabilizing muscles around the joints. And then what we can add in, Dar, so we're going to do a jump into a skate. All right, so this one stumped ninja the other week. So you jump and push and land. All right, so we're getting a bit more dynamic. So jump, push and land. Jump, push and land. You can also do this as a bit of a movement. So you start over there, Darth. So we're going to, actually we'll both start in.
Yep.
So we jump forward a little bit, land, push off. Jump forward a little bit, land, push off. Jump forward, push off. All right. So you're just starting to train a little bit of lateral movement there. Also getting a bit of landing and absorbing through our hips and joints.
Yeah.
Oh,
that one's going to be better for sport as well, you know. So most of you guys that are just bashing the pavement running straight, this one's going to be more likened to footy, rugby, basketball, where we're moving more lateral.
It's still good if you are doing a run, you might need to move around someone. So it's still good to train those lateral movement patterns. Yeah, good at stabilising so your hips aren't bowing out like this if you get fatigued when you're running. So that's why it's good to do these exercises. Doing some lateral movement is that when you get fatigued, you're not letting your hips drop like this and swaying, where you can start to really overload this glute med.
Yeah.
So there it is, guys, 6 exercises that are all single leg strength that's going to really benefit you if you're a runner. So yeah, as I mentioned at the start, if you can come in and see us, book in, get a one-on-one session, get some treatment, get some exercise, or if you can't come and see us, jump on our Fundamentals of Fitness or Advanced Training course, and yeah, we'll see you there. Thank you, guys.
See you next time.